All right, KeNikka, the picks are in for the Bears, and we are talking about it right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
This bullet just handed to me.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
This is Breaking Bears right here on the KeNikka Sports Channel, but first, it's time to jump.
Might as well jump. Go ahead and jump.
Yes, indeed, if it is your first time here, we are asking you to jump right in, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for our official mascot, Frexy. Look at her run, everybody, and oh, a tail wag too. She is just the cutest and such a joy in our lives, KeNikka.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing.
All right. Yes, indeed. The NFL draft has come and gone, and we have some new Bears to talk about.
Woohoo.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome aboard.
I got a tweet here that came across my feed on Saturday afternoon, right after the draft had concluded, and it was from Next Gen Stats, and it says, which NFL teams had the most athletic draft classes in the 2026 NFL draft? And it turns out, lo and behold, that the number one athletic score from Next Gen Stats went to your Chicago Bears, everybody, with a score of 83.
The Bears.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. The Bears, the Bills, Raiders, 49ers, and Saints each averaged an 80-plus NGS athleticism score across their first 7 picks. Along with the next-gen stats score, we got an RAS score as well for the Bears draft class, and that was a 9.47 average out of 10, and that was good enough for second out of all 32 NFL teams. So in case you haven't noticed here, KeNikka, the common theme for the Bears 2026 draft class is athleticism. Hell yeah! If you go back to the NFL IQ website, you can see here they have the NFL draft tracker at the top where you can look at the round by round by round. But underneath that here, they have some score rankings. They have the NGS draft score ranking, the most athletic draft class, the most productive draft class, and then they have some day 1 value picks and some day 2 value picks. But the columns we're looking at here are most athletic draft class. Of course, it was the Bears leading the way with that 82.5. And then we have the most productive draft classes column, because if you scroll all the way to the bottom, the Bears are third to the bottom. And what this means, their draft picks had the third lowest production of the picks taken in the draft compared to other teams. And that just means what their players' stats were in college, you know, where their players ranked compared to the other team's players.
I see.
If
Statistically.
you ain't first, you're last. You know?
As you can see, the athletic players don't always lead to the biggest stats, is what I'm trying to say. The Bears, in fact, are at the low end of this chain, and which is why their draft, score ranking is somewhere in the middle of this column on the left. But I want to also draw your attention to the day 1 value picks here on the side, and Dillon Thieneman is listed here as one of the day 1 value picks for the NGS.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Bears getting some representation here on the NFL IQ draft board, if you will.
That's awesome. So we have young, athletic, new players.
Yeah, we do. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone is excited about this because, you're drafting in some ways potential, right?
This is just the beginning.
Because the production isn't there. Some people would rather be much more comfortable with like, oh, this guy got all these sacks in college. That's the guy I want. The NFL IQ has individual draft scores for each player taken on the Bears team page. And so if you go pick by pick, Dillon Thieneman, athleticism, production, and his overall. And what's funny is when you look at the overall, you can see that it's combining the athleticism score with the production score and kind of rounding it to the middle.
Okay, so it averages out.
Right. So you can see Keyshawn Elliott here at the bottom has a 77 athleticism score, but a 59 production score, and it just averages out to 68. That's like dead in the middle of those two numbers. That's consistent throughout all the picks. Sam Roush, the tight end that we took in the 3rd round, not considered a need. Malik Muhammad, not considered a need. I'd argue against that. And
Okay.
Keyshawn Elliott, also not considered a need, though I would also argue against that. Linebacker and cornerback, respectively. The athleticism score, everyone was in the green for the Bears. Production-wise, not so much. And then everyone winds up getting a average score or better.
The Bears! Ah, the Bears!
I think this was a very interesting draft class for the Bears that we're going to have to keep an eye on as
Definitely.
time goes on, because there's a lot of dissension in the ranks about whether or not this was a good class. The only way you're ever going to know these things for sure is for time to
Of
go
course.
on and let us know. But I also want to remind people, last year the Bears did not have a favorable outlook after the draft. A lot of people were kind of confused, like, why did we draft a tight end and a wide receiver with our first 2 picks? And yet Colston Loveland and Luther Burden III were huge parts of that Bears playoff run last year and our future.
It just shows that the Bears are moving away from defense and towards the offense because of the offensive coach that we have right now.
And not only that, we are also moving into a new player type, I believe,
Yes.
because of Ben Johnson, that maybe Bears fans are not used to.
Exactly.
And maybe the NFL's not used to be honest. I mean, we don't know how much of an innovative coach Ben Johnson truly is going to be in the NFL. My gut tells me that he's not a follower. He's
No.
a trend setter. And that a year, 2 years from now, NFL teams are going to be looking to the Bears for their blueprint on how to build a Super Bowl winner.
Oh, absolutely. It's a copycat league. So
It is. The Bears obviously get these high athleticism scores, and I did want to point out that low production score. But let's take a closer look at these players and their RAS scores, their relative athleticism scores, because there was some interesting information in these tweets, KeNikka.
okay.
And we're going to start, of course, with Dillon Thieneman, the #1 pick, safety, strong safety out of Oregon. And his RAS score was 9.72. And here's what they tweeted. Dillon Thieneman was drafted in round 1 with pick 25 in the 2026 draft class. He scored a 9.72 RAS out of a possible 10. This ranked 40 out of 1,391 strong safeties from 1987 to 2026.
Wow, that's impressive.
Holy shnikes.
In other words, in the last 30 years, Dillon Thieneman ranked 40
Wow.
out of almost 1,400 strong safeties drafted in the NFL. That's how
great.
athletic this kid is. And here you can see him running the 40, and he did it in 4.37. That is a really fast 40 time if you're unfamiliar. Let's turn our attentions to Logan Jones, the center from Iowa, drafted at number 57 in the second round. And it says here he scored a 9.63 RAS out of a possible 10. This ranked 28 out of 735 offensive centers drafted from 1987 to 2026. 28th all time out of 735. Yep. Now you can see here, everything on this box is green except for his height and weight, KeNikka. He's considered undersized. And I just think that that is something that might also change in the coming decade in the NFL, is that you might see a shift towards the leaner, meaner fighting machines, especially
Yeah.
in the trenches, because ain't nobody healthy that's carrying around 350. Okay, folks?
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
And I think speed is going to become the new intangible.
I agree with you. And also, it's a more modern. You don't want this boring 20-year-old football.
Absolutely. Yeah. You want fast, and we want to see a fast game.
Yes.
So, all right, let's turn our attentions to Sam Roush, drafted in the round 3 with pick 69. And he scored a 9.94 RAS out of a possible 10. This ranked 10 out of 1,471 tight ends from 1987 to 2026. KeNikka, are you noticing a pattern here?
Yes, the Bears went shopping to the fast and athletic.
Yes. This was, I want to repeat, a 9.94 out of 10. I mean, that's like 99.4%
Yeah.
out of 100, folks.
That's awesome.
Holy shnikes.
Sam Roush is considered the best blocking tight end of the 2026 draft. And the Bears now, with Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland and Sam Roush, probably have the best tight end room in all of the NFL.
They're going to outrun the other teams.
Eat your heart outs, everybody. Zarian Thomas.
Oh.
The most controversial pick, I think, of this draft for the Bears, if you follow the social media commentary and the mainstream media, Zarian Thomas was drafted in round 3 with pick 89 in the 2026 draft class. He scored a 8.79 RAS out of a possible 10. This ranked 507 out of 4,196 wide receivers from 1987 to 2026. Yes, you read that correctly. He's still in that top echelon there, top 12%, I believe.
Yes.
500 out of 4,000, basically. Another athlete, Nika, another freakish mutant athlete, if you will. And here he is running the 40. Xavier can fly, as you know, but he returned some punts in college. 3 of them, actually, for touchdowns, which is a decent amount in college. And it proves that he can hit the home run. And I think he's going to be part of the Bears' special teams return game, kick returns, punt returns, maybe some special offensive plays where they just try to get the ball in his hands and see if he can create and make anything happen.
The Bears.
Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, once again, it was Malik Muhammad, drafted in round 4 with pick 124 in the 2026 draft class, and the Bears did trade up to get this guy. It says he scored a 9.51 RAS out of a possible 10, and that ranked 153 out of 3,075 cornerbacks from 1987 to 2026. Again, another upper echelon athlete here in terms of the history of the position in the NFL.
Welcome aboard.
It's a common theme so far.
Very, very common theme, in case you haven't noticed. But I thought these rankings were just so impressive I couldn't ignore. Keyshawn Elliott was drafted in round 5 with pick 166 in the 2026 draft class. He scored a 8.74 RAS out of a possible 10. This ranked 438 out of 3,480 linebackers from 1987 to 2026. Top 500 here out of 3,500 almost.
It's impressive so far.
Very impressive where these guys are falling on this all-time rankings list. At least from 1987 till now.
The Bears.
The Bears did draft a defensive lineman, folks. They waited all the way to round 6, and it was Jordan Vandenberg, the first NFL prospect, by the way, drafted, who was born in South Africa.
Oh, nice.
Crazy factoid there. But he was drafted in round 6 with pick 213, and he scored a 10 out of 10 RAS.
Holy shnikes.
Top of the class.
Yes, and in case you were wondering, this ranked second out of 2,278 defensive tackles from 1987 to 2026.
Is
Yes,
80?
that's right. Second. And no, I don't know who the tackle who was ahead of him was, but damn, that is second, Nika. Second.
No, that's impressive. I wonder if 87 is the year when they start keeping track of the stats.
I think it must have been. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yes.
And then everybody's stats are from that year, and it just feels like, you know, modern analytics. That's about probably when they started, you know,
Keeping track of that.
measuring all of these things: bench press, verticals,
Yeah.
you know, 40-yard dash, shuttles, cone drills, all this stuff.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know?
It's impressive on paper.
It is, but at the end of the day, it just spits out a numerical score for you, and it can be a talking point and a thing for people to point to. Nothing matters until these guys hit the NFL field and we see what they can do.
Absolutely.
One more little quick fun nugget with Jordan Vandenberg here is their video was posted from June 8th, 2020. He's jumping out of the water onto the concrete, and it is impressive. If you've ever moved in water, period, you will know how hard it is to move in water. So to actually jump standing without using your hands at all for leverage, that is damned impressive, man.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All of this leads me to believe, Nika, that the Bears have shifted a little bit their philosophy as a team as to what type of player they are looking for, and that
Faster, younger, more intense.
Faster, more intense, and definitely I think they are wanting to go younger when and where they can. They might have to rely on some veteran free agents still to fill out the end of this roster.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think what they've done here is they've built a pretty damned impressive roster to go forward into 2026 with.
The Bears! Ah, the Bears!
And I think they're very confident about what they've done. I want to play a couple audio clips here to bring this little segment to a close. Here is Ryan Poles on the opening draft night talking about the type of players that the Bears are now looking for.
What put you guys in that space to be more aggressive? Is it the clear vision from the coaching staff? Is it the process, the point you are in the process of roster building?
I would say both. Just confidence in our system. And then, again, this staff is unbelievable. We're just giving clarity. And I think as we continue to work with each other, we're going to know exactly what we're looking for. So why mess around with, those that don't fit what we're trying to do? And then we're having conversations in, it's the summertime and in the fall of why that guy can't play for us, or, it's not a fit. So, I think both things are true. Just confidence in the system. Our scouts do an unbelievable job gathering information, and then our coaching staff is really clear with what they're looking for. So it's a really good marriage.
A couple things stand out from what he said. The Bears don't feel like they're reaching for players here like other people online want to make you think they are. The way that they talk about this is they had a very limited, narrow focus of who they would maybe draft at all in this draft.
This is just the beginning.
Athleticism certainly seems to be the decisive factor more than anything.
Definitely. And it has Ben Johnson all over this.
Oh, yeah. The other thing he said at the end was that the coaching staff is clear on what they're looking for. And that tells me 100% that Ben Johnson is driving this ship. And Ryan Poles he's leading the scouting. No doubt about it. He is helping these scouts, get what Ben Johnson is looking for. Though that's he's looking for what Ben Johnson wants.
Right, they are building a team based on the categories that Ben Johnson specifically asks for.
Let's hear from Ben Johnson on night 3. This was on Saturday afternoon after all the rounds had finished.
I couldn't be more pleased with Ryan and his crew. These scouts, they went out this fall and they collected all kinds of information, and I think they absolutely nailed it. We found guys that fit our DNA and what we want to be about. We found it round 1 through round 6 there, our last pick, and even in some of these guys we're picking up right now, I think we're still finding our type of guys. So that was important for us, and you would hope from year 1 to year 2 with this coaching staff and the personnel department, we're so much further along than we were a year ago at this time. So that's what's encouraging to me and Ryan, and really look forward to seeing these guys hit the grass here in a couple weeks.
I think it's safe to say here that Ben Johnson is really happy with the job that Ryan Poles and his staff did with the scouting for this draft. He doesn't look like he's faking it or anything like Sean McVay might be these days.
Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson worked together to accomplish this. It wasn't just one-sided.
Yes.
Here are the players, you work with them. Like other teams might have done it. Here's we worked together. This is what we went for it, and this is what we got.
Are you not entertained?
He also said this fits our DNA, and this goes along with what we're saying. He has a vision for the type of football player he's looking for.
Yeah, it's like a recipe.
And that
you have ingredients. I want them.
But that type, I think it's safe to say, is faster, more intense, and bringing a youthful energy and even high IQ. I might even throw that in there as well.
Hell yeah!
Of course.
He wants some intelligence out there on the football field. He kind of let a little note here slip about the undrafted free agents. They are also fitting into this DNA that he has outlined for Ryan Poles and the scouting department to go look for.
Show me the money!
That's encouraging and interesting because, undrafted free agents are generally brought in to create competition at positions of weakness or maybe positions of depth.
So we're going to have tryouts.
Who's going to be the backup? Who's going to be that next man up that you really trust? But ultimately, yeah, we've been saying this for a while that Ben Johnson wants these explosive, faster players. And so to me, the 2026 NFL Bears draft class it just backs that up.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to see the results on the field eventually, but this shows modernized Bear offense.
The Bears.
In conclusion, all I really want to say is I think right now this draft class is going to go mostly under the radar from a lot of the mainstream media and from a lot of, Bears fans that are mad that we didn't draft an edge rusher yet. Maybe didn't invest as much into the defensive line as I thought they would. They thought they would. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
If you ain't first, you're last.
I think Ben Johnson, being the madman that he is, wants to score 50 points per game. And I don't think that's a joke when I say that.
No.
And I think the NFL better get ready because these pieces that he got are really specific when it comes to putting up points on the board, I think.
Definitely. It's an exciting team that he's building.
It is, yeah. And just think, this is just only year 2 at the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
And we have a whole, off-season training activity program to get through now with the rookies being involved and these undrafted free agents also being involved and included. And then we're going to have training camp and a lot of position battles.
So we're gonna have tryouts.
Here.
Absolutely. And the rookies are excited to be under Johnson's tutelage.
Yes, I think you're starting to see that shift as well, where players want to be here. They want to play for Ben Johnson. They want to play with Caleb Williams. And yeah, we're just getting started, baby. We are just getting started. All right, let us know what you think of the Bears draft in the comments below. Are you happy that the Bears went with this athletic style of player, or do you think they should have stuck to the expert mock board and not reached for any of these players? Let us know in the comments below what you got, and we will be back real soon with more Chicago Bears 2026 draft coverage right here on the KeNikka Sports Channel, and we will talk to you then.